Hello everyone. Happy Wednesday. Another week has flown by and here we are. It is time for another Wednesday night live with independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator Teresa Harper. I am located in Oregon in the United States. I hope everyone had a fabulous week last week. The weather has been really nice here. We're supposed to get a heat wave coming up. And let's see if I can find the video so I can excuse me, see who's on. There we are. Oh, we don't need that. Let's turn that sound off. No need to hear myself twice. Hello, Laura. Welcome, welcome. Hope all is well. I'm going to be using the little monkey bundle today. This is a photopolymer stamp and punch bundle. It's in the 2023 to 2024 annual catalog. And it is currently in stock. Hello, Jennifer Isom. So glad to see you. So this is what we're going to be using tonight. For those of you who will be attending Saturday's live in-person event, our theme this month is monkeys. So I decided that tonight would be the perfect night to showcase the little monkey bundle that I actually purchased for my grandson, or that's the excuse I used to purchase it because I thought he would love it. And so now I'm going to use it this week so I can justify that purchase and show you all what some great cards that you can make using that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. We're also going to be using some new product that will be upcoming in the September to December 2023 Stampin' Up! Mini catalog. So that will go live to customers on September 6th. Let's go ahead and grab our basket here that has all of our supplies. Let's move this off and out of the way. And let's bring in some Stampin' Blends. We're going to be doing a little bit of coloring, so we're going to need some Stampin' Blends. Okay, and these are the Stampin' Blends we'll be using. Oh, along with the Light SU1000. And we'll be using Early Espresso, Old Olive, and Granny Apple Green inks. I'm going to be using the Fern 3D embossing folder. This is currently in the annual catalog. We've got some speckled adhesive back speckle dots, and these are from the upcoming mini catalog that will be releasing September 6th. You get, well, let's take these out of here. Whoops, one of my dots is sliding off of the card. Might as well take it out because we're going to need it anyway, right? So we've got Copper Clay, Crumb Cake, Moody Mauve, and Old Olive. So we're going to be using those on our card. We're also going to be using these brand new Steckled Circles. These will be available again in the mini catalog in September to customers, or you can add them to a starter kit right now if you'd like to join my team. And you get 14 Deckled Circles dies, and the largest is 5 3/4. The smallest is about 1 inch, and we're going to be using, I numbered mine from largest to smallest, and we're going to be using 5, 6, and 7 out of this set tonight. And then for the inside, I used the Days to Remember for the happy birthday, but you could use any stamp set that you have that has happy birthday. That's just what I used. I always want to encourage you to use what you have on hand. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to put these all out of the way here so that we don't have to fight all that stuff in our way. And I'm going to grab our supplies. Okay. So I'm going to show you, I did the envelope and I stamped the leaf image from the Little Monkey stamp set. And then on the back, I ran my envelope flap through the Fern 3D embossing folder. And all you need to do is just stick that in. Make sure that the line of the fold of your envelope lines up with the edge of the folder. Close that up and run it through. Be careful when you do that, that the sides of your folder don't touch the sides of the cut and emboss. And then I did some ink blending over the top. Okay, so that's how I did my envelope. We're going to set that aside because we don't need that right at the moment. And then I took a piece of 4.5 by 4.5 by 8.5 thick basic white cardstock, and I took the 5th largest die number 5 in mine, and I put that on that square and I ran it through with the fold at the top and the die sitting off of the fold just like this. Okay, that way this does not cut right here. There's a hole. And when I get done, then I have a round deckled circled card. And this is the size that will still fit in a medium envelope. Okay, so hello Tracy, hello Cynthia. So that gives us a shaped card when we run it through the die machine just like that. Okay, you just need a 4.5 by 4.5 inch piece, and then, or 4.5 by 8.5, sorry, and then you'll be able to do that with the score in the middle. Just pre-score it, fold it over, run that through. Okay, so then I've taken out of a piece of vellum and I cut the number, what I call the number 6 deckled rectangle. It's 2 down from the one that we used to cut the card base. So I've cut that. I've pre-cut that to save us some time. And then using the one right in the middle of those two, so number 6, I cut a piece of soft seafoam cardstock, and that is going to go in the center of our card. Okay, so I hope that all makes sense on how I did that. And again, those deckled circles will be available in the upcoming mini catalog when it releases on September 6th to customers. Okay, so let's go ahead. We're going to bring in our die cut machine, and we're going to use the large one because we are embossing this piece and it won't fit in our let me grab a piece of scrap paper here first. So I'm going to take the front of this and some Old Olive and some Granny Apple Green ink, and I'm going to get my blending brush. Actually, I'm going to start with my Granny Apple Green because it's the lighter color. Okay, and I'm just going to put some ink on that, rub off on my sheet here so that I've got I won't get any smears. And then I'm going to put some Granny Apple Green here and there. I don't want this everywhere because I want to add some Old Olive and give some texture. Some different shading there. Okay. Actually, let me fold that because I don't want to get that on my back piece. So now I'm going to take and get most of that Granny Apple Green off of my brush. And oh, there it is. I buried it. And I just use an old towel that I have and just run that on my old towel. And then I'm going to take my Old Olive. I'm going to put some ink on there. And then I'm just going to go back and ink up the rest of this. Okay, so I've got that all prepared. Oh, and then I'm going to open up my card here real quick. And I'm going to take some of that Old Olive ink that's just on my brush. I'm going to fold this back. And I'm just going to go around the very outside edge of this. I don't need to worry about the center, because I'm going to put a piece of cardstock, another circle on the inside here, okay? So this is what we have so far. Put those aside. And then we're going to bring in our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Okay, so let's get our Fern 3D embossing folder. And I am just going to put the fold of my card right along the edge of the design here. And I'm going to close that up. And I'm going to make sure that my design is right on that fold. And then I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And like I said, I need the big boss for this. And I've got plate 1, and then I'm going to put my embossing folder in, and I'm going to make sure that my plates don't touch the side. That's very important so that I don't bust the spine of my folder. I'm going to add plate number 4 on top, and I'm going to make sure that that's all nice and straight, and I'm going to watch that all the way through, making sure that that doesn't touch the sides in any spot. And now I've got a nicely embossed card front that has those different variations of color. Because of the way I embossed that. Okay, so we've got that. Now we're going to take and add, well actually, let's do some stamping. And let's grab some white, basic white, paper. And I've got just a bunch of scraps is what I'm using. Okay, and then we're going to take the early espresso ink. And what? I don't know what did I do with my sample card so I can see what I'm supposed to do here. Okay, so we need to stamp a tree and leaf image here. We're just going to stamp this along here. Okay. Then we're going to stamp the hanging monkey. Now this is a monkey that doesn't have the punch, that can't be punched out. Okay, so we're just gonna put that down. Okay. And then we're going to grab our bananas. And I need 2 bananas. Let's see, I want to put these here and here. And then, whoa, and I'm going to stamp my last banana. And that is all of the pieces that we need other than our sentiment. So our sentiment also comes from this stamp set, and we're going to take the Just Swinging By to Say Hi, but I didn't want it to say hi, so I'm going to take a piece of masking post-it tape, and I'm going to mask off the word hi, and then I'm going to ink that up, pull my masking off. That's very, very important. And then I'm going to stamp this down. Okay. All right. Then for the inside of our card, let's go ahead and get our stamping out of the way for that. We need to stamp our monkey again. Or not our monkey, but our leaf. And we're just going to stamp this right up here at the top. And then we're going to take the happy birthday, and that's from the Days to Remember. And I'm going to stamp this right about there. And then I'm going to grab one more of the monkeys, and I actually need a scrap piece of paper for this one, so let me find one big enough, because I thought I had one here. Okay, oh yeah, I did, right here in front of me. And we're going to stamp this. And okay, so there's all of our pieces stamped and ready for coloring. Okay, so we've got this, and for this I'm going to hand cut this. So I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to draw around my saying here with my pencil. And then I'm going to hand cut that. Okay, and then I'll erase what I didn't cut. All right, and oh, I don't have that done actually. I thought I had that one piece done, but I don't. So let's go ahead and cut that out. And I'm just going to cut off the excess. There's no awards for keeping a long piece. We're just going to cut this. I just drive with my non-dominant hand and just open and close the scissors with my right hand. Okay, so there's our sentiment all ready to go for the outside of our card. And then, like I said, I'm just going to go back my pencil eraser, and I like these big pencils because they have the white erasers. I never use a pink eraser. I do not like the way they erase. Okay, so there we go. That sentiment is ready. Okay, let's that. All right, so we've got that. Now let's go ahead and do a little bit of coloring here. We're going to color the branch with the medium SU 600. That's in the medium natural tones collection. I'm just going to color our branch really quickly. Okay. All right. And then we're going to take dark and light old olive. I'm going to color those leaves. Quick and dirty coloring. And I'm going to go back with my dark old olive and just put a splotch down the center. Next, we need our dark Daffodil Delight for our bananas. I'm just going to color that up. Okay. And we're going to use the medium deep 300 here at the end of this banana. Actually, you would need to color both of these bananas. I think I've already got them punched, but I'm not 100% sure. Oh, and then we're going to take the dark Daffodil Delight here. And then I'm going to bring in my light lemon lolly to do my banana. And I'm just doing the outer edges here. I'm not trying to fill it in. Just want to give it some texture. And my monkey, I'm going to do the medium 600 for his face. And I'm going to start with the light SU 1000, which is part of the Natural Tones light collection. I'm going to draw in some little blush. And then I'm going to go back with my medium SU 600, which is the same one that we used for the tree branch. I'm going to color in that face. Okay. And then we're going to take the medium SU 300. Forgot his ears. Hang on. That's with the 1000 again. And then we're just going to color in the rest of our monkey. And I did not do any fancy coloring here, because these are natural tones. They don't have a lighter and a darker, so you can mix and match the different tones, or you can just do regular coloring and go back and add a little shading after the color has dried a bit. So just color this in really quickly. Okay, and then like I said, go back and just put in a little bit of shading where you think it should be. Okay, and I think I'm happy with that. So there's all my pieces. Now these all have to be hand cut, but the bananas you can use the punch for. Okay? So I should not have done it that way. I want to cut this off because I don't want to ruin my tree. Okay, and then I'm just going to take this little piece and stick this in here. And I'm going to punch that up. And then I can still, if I try real hard, get my other banana. But you don't need to watch me do that because I already have my bananas cut, so we're good. Okay, and I've already got these cut out. So the only thing left then is this little monkey, because I don't have him cut for the inside. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to color him the same way. With the deep, medium deep, 300 on the body. Around the face. Like this. There. And then trace around the edge of the face here. Fill that in. Alright, and then I'm going to go back and put just a little bit of shading under the head here. And we'll add the cheeks. Fill in the nose and the ears. And then we're going to take the SU600. And fill in that face. Okay, so there's that little monkey. Oops, I've got all kinds of little white scraps here now. Let me get those out of the way. And then we'll just fussy cut this monkey pretty quickly. This card doesn't use the monkeys that you can punch. Remember, when you're cutting, you'll turn your paper with your left hand if you're right-handed. Do it opposite if you're a lefty. Leave a little bit of a white border. Because the eye will be drawn to the image line outline and not necessarily to your cut line. Okay, so this does not take that much, and of course if you have a Brother Skin and Cut, you could pop this little image in, and it doesn't have any broken lines, so it would cut out beautifully. Okay, almost done here. Notice how I'm turning the paper with my left hand. That allows me smoother, more even cuts. And I tend to be a slow, fussy cutter. Some people are really quick at it, but not me. Okay, so there we go. So that is completely ready. Now we're ready to start putting our card together. So let's bring in our vellum piece here. And we're going to add our branch to the top here. Okay. I'm going to do that about right there. And I'm going to get some liquid glue here. Whoa. That is way, way too much ink, or glue. So I'm just going to take this, and you get way too much like that. Just take and pat your piece on your silicone mat, and now we'll be good. Okay, got that. Whoa. I'm not even squeezing now. Okay, so let's go ahead and add this then to our vellum. And I'm doing this now because I'm going to use my vellum, or my pieces, my images, to show me where I can use my adhesive on the back of my vellum. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put this down. Oh, yes, I am. I'm gonna put this down. I'm gonna put it down flat. And I'm keeping the glue off the very edge of my die because I'm going to actually put this here. It's going to hang just a little bit off that edge. Okay, then we're going to get our monkey. I'm going to put some Stampin' Dimensionals on my monkey. Just a couple. Take those backings off. And then I'm going to take that tail, tuck it underneath my branch. Let me lift my branch up just a tad bit here. Just enough to get my monkey's tail in here. Like so. Okay, and I'm going to hang him a little bit of an angle, like that. Then I'm going to add my bananas. I'm going to do that with glue dots. Okay, so I'm going to take this banana and add it to the first banana so that I have a pair of bananas. And then I'm just going to place these over here. I want to make sure that my glue dot is not sticking out over the edge. I'm going to add my bananas in here. Almost so it looks like we've got a banana tree. Okay, then we're going to take the other banana, and I'm going to take a piece of a mini glue dot here. I just want a small section. And I'm going to put that at the top of my banana, hoping that that cuts all the way there. Put it at the top of my banana. And then I'm going to add a glue dot to the bottom of my banana. And I'm going to pull this and put this in the monkey's hand with the glue dot. And then my Stampin' Dimensional will pop that up. Okay, so this is ready to put on our card. Let's go ahead and grab another new product upcoming in the mini catalog called the Copper and Natural Ribbon Combo Pack. Comes with copper metallic ribbon, and then you get this natural ribbon And I've taken and cut a section of that off. And then I cut the edge of it off. It has this binding edge here, and I cut it off. And then I'm just going to pull, 3 or 4 of those little strands. Okay, maybe I only better do 2 at a time. Okay, let's grab these. Well, let's pull the outer 2 first, because that'd be the smart thing to do. Although it looks like all 4 are coming now at the same time. So now I've got 4 strands. And we're going to take our bow jig, and I'm going to use the smallest piece here. And I'm going to wrap that around 3 times. And then give that a tie. Over and under. Make sure I've got all of my strands through the loop. And then give that a quick pull. Make it nice and snug. And then we're going to cut off the ends. Okay. And now we have this really nice textured bow. And again, we're going to grab those glue dots. Put that in the center of my bow. Pinch it with my fingers and fold over the glue dot. And add this to the top of my bananas. Okay. And this piece is ready to add to the front of our card now. And by doing all of that work first, now I can flip this over. Look where I need to put, where I am able to put liquid glue along the back sides of those images so that it won't show through my vellum. And then that will secure my vellum to my card front. Okay. And there we have it. Okay, so now I'm going to take from the inside and I'm just going to give that a good press. Make sure that all those pieces adhere. And then we're going to add our inside piece. And to finish this up, we're again going to take that medium deep. Well, actually we're going to take the 600 and I'm going to color in my tree branch right over my soft seafoam. And we're going to go to the dark and light old olive. Color in those leaves. Take the dark old olive. So those in. And now we can add our monkey that we cut out. And we're going to add him just like so. With a little bit, we don't want to pop him up because he's in the inside, so we're going to use some liquid glue. We don't want our card to be too bulky for the mail. bit of glue on his tail because I want his tail to look like it's hanging onto the tree. So we're just gonna hook that like that. And there is the inside of our card. Okay, now we can go ahead and add this with some Stampin' Seal. Whoops. Drop that. And then our card will be finished. And the nice thing about the happy birthday here is it doesn't matter if we stamped it straight or not, because we can turn our circle just enough to make it look straight, even if we didn't stamp it straight. All right, so there's our card. I hope you like that. And of course the matching envelope. Okay, let me clean up here and we will get started on our next card. After we pick up a few things. I'm going to need these Stampin' Blends again, some of them. So I'm just going to set them over here. I'm not going to show you all the coloring on the next card because I did show you the coloring on this. So let's just move those out of the way. Take those tools, pick those up. All right, so there we are. Okay, and our next card, I've done a lot of the pre-work. So let's, whoops, not take the face off of that guy. Oh, you know what we forgot to do? We forgot to add our gems here. Our adhesive back speckled dots. So let's throw those on real quick. I'm going to take the old olive ones here. And I'm going to take a small one. Put it here. One of the larger ones. And put it up here. And then we'll take another one of the larger ones and set it over here. All right, and that makes our card totally a finished product. All right, so we are happy with that. Set that up here to bring back in later. Okay, so our next project, in addition to the little monkey, we're going to be using the Apple Harvest stamp set, and you can still get the Apple Blossom dies in the clearance rack. These are only $14 right now. So you can get this stamp set at $24 and the fabulous dies at $14, and make yourself a stamp and die bundle for $38. Okay. So let's grab a piece of basic white, and I'm just going to show you how I colored the apples. We're not going to color the whole image because I already have it done and die cut. So let's do this. I'm going to stamp that in Memento. Tuxedo Black. All right, so we've got that. And then you're going to need one of each of the monkeys. And again, stamp those in early espresso. For my different, I'll tell you what colors I use to color my monkeys. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and color our apples. And I'm just going to color one apple and one leaf. Okay. So for that, we are using light and dark real red and the light cherry cobbler. Okay. And then we'll be using light and dark old olive on the leaves. All right, so let's start with the light cherry cobbler. And I'm just gonna go around this leaf here with my light cherry cobbler. And hitting the highlights that the artist put in here. Okay. So, got that. And I'm going to go back with my dark real red. And go over my cherry cobbler a little bit here. Not all of it, just the edges to blend those colors. Okay. Then I'm going to take my light cherry cobbler and I'm going to go back over the edge of the dark real red and color in the rest of my apple here. Okay, and then I've got lights and darks for the shadows. Okay, so then we're going to take for the leaves, we're going to do the light old olive. I'm going to color that in. And then I'm going to take the dark old olive, and there's some artist markings in here, and I'm just going to go over those with the dark, and then I'm going to go back with my light and blend those together. So again, I've got lights and darks. Okay, then I use, you can use the medium deep SU 400 for the branches, or any of those natural tones that you like. Let's go in there. Okay, and then I left, like here, I went to the edge of the leaf stem. And then for the center parts, because you've got a bunch of white in here, and I wanted this to stand out a bit, so I took my light seafoam and I colored in those parts that are not leaves, because when I die cut this out, I don't want those to be white in the background. Okay, so I just went along all the edges of my leaves with the light seafoam like this and filled in all these center pieces. Okay, and then you'll have a finished piece that looks like this. I took just a tiny bit of Wink of Stella around the outer edges of those apples. I didn't fill them completely in. I just wanted a little bit of sparkle on the edges, like there was some dew on the fruit. So we've got that piece. And we've got our monkeys. Now I'm going to tell you what colors I used for my monkeys. This particular monkey is done with 600 for the face, the SU Natural 600. And then, and the 600, let's see, is in which, it's in the mediums, I believe. Yeah, mediums. Okay, so I've got that, and copper clay, light and dark copper clay for this one. And this little guy, I used 400 and 500, so that's the medium and the medium deep for this one. And then for this one, I used 300, which is also the medium deep, and 500, which is the medium. Okay, and of course their ears are done with the SU 1000s. Okay, so we've got a I've got all 3 of those and I cut them out. One of those is punched. Now I've got an old olive card base, 5.5 by 8.5. I've got a layer piece of soft sea foam, and this is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. And then I've got a piece of crumb cake, which I have embossed with the Twisted Rope 3D embossing folder. This is in the annual catalog. Okay, and we're going to take and put a little bit of background on this piece. And that comes from the Apple Harvest. I'm going to use that with the old olive ink. Okay, we're just going to take this piece and we're going to this, then we're going to turn it. This does not have to be perfect. And I'm just going to keep turning this so that it lines up somewhat. And I'm making sure that I get right to the edge. Oh, there I did not. So let's go back and we'll add a little bit up here. It's very forgiving. And just keep churning that. And if we don't get a spot, I'll just ink up that edge. Okay, so now we've got our edge. And we are ready to start assembling our card. So we're going to add this to our card base. This layout is really rather simple. Okay, so we'll just have just a very hint of the old olive showing here. I'm going to go ahead and burnish down this line. Okay, then we're going to add our twisted rope piece. And I'm going to do that with liquid glue because this is a 3D embossed piece and I want it to lay down. So I need that glue to go down in the nooks and crannies of those embossed layers. And we're going to add this to our card. Like so. Give that a good press. Let that layer adhere. Okay. And then we're going to take a scrap piece of soft sea foam. Okay. And we're going to take this sentiment from the Apple Harvest, "The greatest gift is a good friend." And again, with the old olive, we're going to stamp this on the scrap. Okay. Then from the Apple Harvest dies, we're going to take the banner piece here. And we're going to cut out the sentiment. And then we're going to have this piece. Okay. So from those Apple Blossom dies, we used the die to cut out the apples and that coordinating label piece. And remember, those are in the clearance rack at only $14. And that Apple Harvest set is still in the annual catalog, so you can easily get it. Okay, so this is going to go down here at the bottom, and we're going to pop this up. Oh, and wait a minute. I found that the regular dimensionals will fit this barely. But if you put the flat sides of the dimensional to the stitching lines, it does work perfectly. Okay, so we've got that. Take those backing pieces off. Add this to the front of our card. Right about here. And then we'll be ready to add this piece. And because we're adding this to the 3D, we're going to use liquid glue. But before I do that, I want to take and take my bone folder to these leaves so that they'll curl up and give just a little bit of added dimension. Okay, so I've got that. And then I'm going to glue this. I'm going to glue on the stem. And then I'm going to keep most of my glue to the center here, so that when I add my monkeys, I can tuck them in where I want them. Okay, so I'm just going to stick my branch at the top of my crumb cake layer here. Give that a press. Make sure it adheres. And then I'm going to take my monkey. I'm going to get some Stampin' Dimensionals again. I'll have all the colors that I colored these on my blog, so you'll be able to go back and look at that. I'm going to hang his tail right on this small leaf here, so that it looks like he's hanging from there. Okay, so I've got that. Let's take this little guy, we're going to put him down flat. Again, he was done with 300 and 400. And I'm going to tuck him right up under here if I can. So he looks kind of like he's hanging in here, underneath there. And his face to stick out though, so we're going to make him look a little bit like he's hiding there. And then I'm going to get some Stampin' Dimensionals for this guy. And I'm going to put those mostly on his top side. And then I'm going to stick his bottom in here. And I'm going to wrap his tail on that leaf. And there we have our card front complete. Okay, for the inside of this card, I've just taken another piece of the soft sea foam, and this piece is 3 5/8 by 4 7/8, and again I've stamped that lattice pattern from the Apple Harvest. I did not put a sentiment in this. I will add a sentiment when it goes to the recipient. And then I'm just going to put this inside here. And for the envelope, I did the lattice in opposite corners and some of the leaves from the monkey set and colored them in with soft sea foam. There. All right, so those are the two projects that I'm making for you tonight. Now, I did do a third card, if I can find where I stuck it, with the little monkeys here that I do want to show you. So So here is my, they call this a shutter card, or shutter design or whatever. And then I've got my matching envelope. So one of these days we're going to do this, and I'll show you how that's done. This is done with the Hello Irresistible Designer Series paper, which is on low inventory. It's an online exclusive, so if you haven't picked that up, you'll want to pick it up before it goes out of stock. It probably won't be replaced. Your kindness is appreciated. That comes from the new So Sincere $1 Million Achiever inspired stamp set. This will be in the upcoming catalog in September. Okay. And I've used the 4-pack of the tinsel gems. These are in Lost Lagoon. Stamped and used some vellum here. And that is our third card for your inspiration. All right. I hope everybody enjoyed that. Thank you guys so much for your comments. I so appreciate you watching and commenting. And I'm so glad that you liked all of those sneak peeks. I will see you back here again next Wednesday at 7 p.m. for another Wednesday Night Live. Until then, everybody have a great week and stay cool. Good night.